Ma'am, you've welcomed today's order by the Bombay High Court, which has conditionally lifted this ban on Maggi. Why is this such an important order today?
Mainly because I think some kind of clarity is going to come out of this. There has been a lot of apprehension in the industry as to the way product approval was going on and the kind of notifications which were being issued all the time. So there was a lot of grey area where there was no transparency. And in this particular case, like in many other cases, the industry had continuously been demanding that there should be a clear set of protocols, all very transparent, where the industry knows what they have to follow. They should know that if they get tested, how is the testing going to be done. Every lab should know those procedures they have to, the protocol they have to follow for testing, so that there is no grey area, and a consumer should know that what they're eating is absolutely safe for them. And I think this is what I have also been raising. So I'm very happy when the Honorable Court has given an order that a testing will be done, and after hearing both the sides, and then a result that is going to come out is going to clearly show the deficiencies or what needs to be done to ensure this transparent manner is adopted. So that's one of the reasons why I really welcome it, because it's something that I've been asking for a while, and I hope that this step is going to lead towards that direction to ensure that these transparent protocols are all put in place for everyone to know how to proceed ahead.
Well, you know, as you just said, that a lot needs to be done to remove roadblocks, and as you put it earlier as well, there's a fear psychosis in the industry. Can you elaborate on that, and what does this fear psychosis really stem from at the end of the day?
See, this is the food processing industry is one industry that has been growing at a faster rate than either agriculture or manufacturing, in spite of it being facing all kinds of challenges. It's an industry which is in the registered factory sector probably is the highest generator of employment. On one hand, it reduces wastages, which are huge and a big issue in our country, and because of these wastages, there's less availability, which then leads to higher prices. So the more that gets processed, the less wastage there will be, and thus more availability, and hence the consumer will be able to get it at cheaper prices because inflation will be under control. So an industry such as food processing, which is really important, where only 2% of our fruits and vegetables are processed, whereas we are probably the second largest producers in the world of fruits and vegetables, has huge scope, and therefore these huge wastages need to be brought down. So an environment for this industry where they can flourish, where they can ensure that wastage is reduced, where the farmer gets good rates, the consumer can buy at affordable prices, is a win-win situation for all. Now for this industry to progress, what the industry has regularly been raising is that there's a system in our country where every product has to be approved. Now product by product approval, you know, someone's making a new kind of bread, someone's making a new biscuit, someone's making a new cake, a new juice, a new lassi, a new samosa, a new idli. You know, there are all kinds of variations of foods that are being made in the processing industry, and for each product you have to get an approval. Now you can imagine the humongous job of giving these approvals and the kind of time, the long list, waiting list of the product approval that must be there, which is what the industry, when I took over, came to me that these 1.5 years of waiting of approvals for your products is something which needed to be addressed, which I kept saying that we cannot go into product by product approval because we don't have the infrastructure. We should go into ingredient approval. Once the ingredient has been approved, give the flexibility to the industry.
Well, that's quite something when you talk about a year or a year and a half, you know, for people to have to wait for product approvals. But then in this case, do you believe that the food regulator was overzealous when with regard to Maggi?
See, I don't want to comment on Maggi because first of all, what the food regulator did, it doesn't come under my ministry. What they tested, what they found, I'm not privy to that. I'm sure the steps that they took were what they thought was best for the nation and best for the people. The point I want to raise is not about a Maggi or not about XYZ. The point is that the system needs to be transparent, it needs to be clear, a protocol needs to be in place where the industry needs to know that this is what is acceptable. This is the way it's going to be tested, and these are the testing standards that I have to meet up to. And any testing lab needs to know that this is the way I have to test it.
I understand what you're saying. But you know, Ms. Badal, also, you know, we have a situation where for the first time the government has filed a class action suit against Nestle India for 640 crores. Many have criticized the government, saying that it's going after Nestle with a heavy hand. What is your view on that?
there is no doubt that this action has created, like I said earlier, a fear psychosis in the industry for the basic reason that on the ground, a lot of industry people have begun to get hassled because the Inspector Raj kind of regime, where an inspector goes and says, "Aapka to ye theek nahi hai, hum ban karne lage hain." So people are withdrawing stuff, you know, like in a festive season of Raksha Bandhan or Diwali, where many new products come in, and every industry innovates to bring in these new products. Now, instead of innovating, because you were not getting the approvals fast enough, the other side, when you're being harassed like this, instead of making new things, you're even stopping what you're putting out in the market. So yes, this industry has been under this fear kind of psychosis, which I said, because of what was going on basically regarding Maggi, but even otherwise they were being harassed because of the slow approvals.
Right, but you're being very candid and forthright in your views by saying that, you know, even this lawsuit, for instance, you know, is a problem and reflects a certain Inspector Raj mentality. Is the government, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, though, divided on this issue? Because Ram Vilas Paswan has actually spoken out in favor of the ban on Maggi. He's been supporting the action taken by the food regulator, the FSSAI, whereas, you know, you have said what you have said. So is the government not really seeing eye to eye within?
No, I think not at all. It's just that I'm a minister for food processing industry. So when the industry comes to me with some of their issues, it's my job to highlight those issues and ensure these roadblocks are removed, because I realize that this industry can play a very important role in addressing the various shortcomings which are there in our country, which is like, you know, controlling inflation and reducing wastage and a whole lot of other things. On the other hand, the other ministers are looking at it from their own ministry's point of view. The health ministry has to ensure that proper healthy food is being given out and the health of the people is not getting damaged. So both are equally important. There is no way that we will allow anyone to play around with the health of our people. But at the same time, in the name of health, industry should not be harassed. And that can easily be done when these transparent systems and protocols are put into place. And we have to work towards harmonizing our systems with the international standards, because now globally we've become like, you know, it's like a village now rather than countries, and what is accepted in the rest of the world, we must start moving towards that, because we want to export, we want to make in India. So we must start adopting those practices and bringing them, rather than creating roadblocks in what already exists, and approving each and every product. You know, if I make the same product that you're making, with the same ingredients, I still have to pay 25,000 bucks and get it approved again. What sense is that? If we're both using the same things, I'm under a different name, you're under a different name, why must we need the approval? So let the industry self-regulate in certain things. And then there are certain traditional things. I mean, you look at a rasgulla or you look at a jalebi, how can you lay down how one fellow makes it or the other makes it? You know, so there are lots of issues. I don't envy FSSAI. They have a humongous job which they have to do, right from looking at, you know, milk contamination, or looking at the way the fruits and vegetables are injected with various substances, or the masalas all being mixed with color. There's so many things you need to look at. Besides every street corner which has a samosa wala or a noodle wala, you have to look at everything. So this organized industry is the easiest to control. Why not set down the systems and ensure that they follow those systems?
Well, Harsimrat Kaur Badal, like I said, outspoken as ever. You've clearly spoken your mind once again today. Thank you very much for joining us, and certainly all that talk of noodles and now various desserts and other foods that the food processing minister threw in has certainly made me hungry. Thank you very much to you for joining us tonight.